this past weekend, we had the crowning of a new welterweight champion. Ryan Garcia was able to get the win and dethrone Mario Barrios.
Yeah, it's about time. He was a part of the Four Kings, right? Everyone was waiting for him to finally get a belt.
This was, in my opinion, the best version of Ryan Garcia. Showcased that he has a right hand. The punch that dropped Mario Barrios early on in the fight.
Let me ask you guys a question. Was this the best version of Ryan, or was it because his opponent Mario Barrios was just too damn slow?
It takes two to tango, and we've been saying this for a while now. Mario Barrios just isn't at that top level.
How are people giving Ryan Garcia more credit for beating Mario Barrios than Devin Haney for beating Brian Norman Jr.?
I want to see that Devin Haney fight, though. There's so much unfinished business there. The rivalry, all the bad blood, it's still there, right?
Right now is the perfect time. They're both champions. They both can unify. And if I know Ryan Garcia wants it, I mean, it all depends on if Devin Haney and his team want it too. So welcome back to another episode of The Last Round Podcast, where we cover everything from traditional boxing to influencer boxing and everything in between. Today's episode, we'll be going over Mario Barrios versus Ryan Garcia, as well as giving our official predictions for Emanuel Navarrete versus Sugar Nuñez this week. But before we get into the episode, make sure to like and subscribe and follow us on all forms of social media. Lastly, we're trying to build up a community on Discord, and you guys joining would be greatly appreciated. And now, diving into the episode, this past weekend, we had the crowning of a new welterweight champion. Ryan Garcia, in a high-stake match, was able to get the win in emphatic fashion and dethrone Mario Barrios to become the new official WBC welterweight champion. Thoughts about this fight?
Yeah, it's about time. You know, Ryan Garcia, he was a part of the Four Kings, the modern day Four Kings.
Whoa. Now you can be included part of that modern 4-day king era, because if you don't have a belt, you're not allowed with that to be labeled that.
Exactly, right? Everyone was waiting for him to finally get a belt, and he did. And he looked great, you know. He basically shut out Mario Barrios. We predicted this. You know, Barrios is just too slow for him. Garcia is just too twitchy, too fast, and he becomes a new champion. So it's good on him, honestly. He should be very proud of himself. You know, 147 is a very glorious division. Now he's the WBC world champion, and there's still a lot of opportunities that he has at the 147.
Yes, this is Ryan Garcia's best signature victory, right, against the weakest champion at that weight class. You know, he looks super good. I don't want to give any discredit towards him, right? You know, the speed was there, the power was there, right? He dropped him early on.
He dropped him in like the first minute.
Yeah, I think it was like the first 30 seconds. Yeah, and it just kind of goes to show that he wanted to like be the bigger guy. You know, even though he was smaller in stature or whatever, but he wanted to go in there and just kind of like make a statement. And this is something that Ryan Garcia really needed to do. You know, ever since he made his pro debut at 135, you know, he hasn't gotten that signature win. You know, against Devin Haney, a lot of people were like, wow, you're going to give a lot of credit to him, but, you know, it's really no contest. Now, from 135, 140 to 147, now he's a champion. Now he's a true one of those Four Kings, you know, that we were talking about. And so, you know, congrats to him. Now he has a lot more options now. You know, now we can see the rematch with him and Rolly Romero maybe. But, you know, the big one is the one with Devin Haney.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's talk about the fight. This was, in my opinion, the best version of Ryan Garcia prior, you know, if you don't count the Devin Haney fight. But yeah, he was very disciplined. I liked the way he fought. He was very, like I said, very disciplined. Showcased that he has a right hand. That's essentially the punch that dropped Mario Barrios early on in the fight, and also the punch that landed the cleanest for Ryan Garcia. He did mention in the post-fight interview that he did end up injuring his right hand, and he also stated how his right hand was the reason why he was getting so many knockouts early on in his career, but he's had injuries with that hand, hence why he's had to resort to the left hook. And he, I think, overall showcased a very good performance, easily the best performance in recent times. That was the big talking point for Ryan Garcia. What kind of version, what version of Ryan Garcia we're gonna get? We're gonna get the one who fought against Rolly Romero, or we're gonna get the one that fought against Devin Haney. There's a lot of questions when it comes to him, just based on the consistency of his performance. So it was a big talking point leading up to this fight. And come fight night, we saw the version that came in, and it was easily the best one.
Yeah. I do want to break this down a little bit, but let me ask you guys a question. Was this the best version of Ryan, or was it because his opponent Mario Barrios was just too damn slow? Which one is it? Because I truly do think that Ryan Garcia is very fast and twitchy. There's no denying. When you have that ghost punch, there's a reason why you're considered so dangerous. But Mario Barrios, I mean, I didn't really see anything dangerous from him. He just seemed too slow, and Ryan Garcia seemed too fast. If I'm not mistaken, I didn't really see any major blows that Barrios was able to connect on Ryan Garcia, and I think it's truly just based off the fact that Ryan was just too slow, whether it was from mid-range or even when he had him close range. I didn't see Barrios posing any threat whatsoever. And so I think looks can be deceiving. It looked like Garcia looked extraordinary. He looked like the best version of himself, the best version that we have ever seen him. But when your dancing partner is just too damn slow, it's like kind of like the hare and the tortoise. You know what I'm saying? But this time the hare is gonna win, and I think that's what we saw.
Yeah, I think so too. Honestly, I mean, it takes two to tango, and we've been saying this for a while now. Mario Barrios just isn't at that top level. He's gotten very lucky these past two fights, getting 2 draws, and he's just always. I've never really been impressed by him, even back when he was at 140 and he fought Tank. People gave him a lot of credit, but I just didn't see too much in him. And, he went up to 147. He got a world title. But I think it's what you're saying. It's the speed. He's so slow, like, reaction-wise. He's so, like, planted on the ground. He's not like, his footwork isn't fast. He's not explosive. He doesn't really have crazy power either. There's a clip where Joe Goosen, his trainer, tells him, hey, you got to knock him out. And it's like, Mario Barrios doesn't knock people out. He's not a big power puncher. So I don't know. I think definitely, people are praising Ryan Garcia, and we should give him the credit that he deserves, because a world title is a world title at the end of the day. But also, let's keep in mind that Mario Barrios is not an elite fighter, and this is the outcome that we were expecting to see. This is not a surprise.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying, how are in critique to the performance of Ryan, they're saying, how are people giving Ryan Garcia more credit for beating Mario Barrios than Devin Haney for beating Brian Norman Jr.? Trying to kind of downplay the hype that we're getting right now post the Ryan Garcia fight with Mario Barrios. So it's a big talking point. I do agree. I mean, he did come out with the best version of himself, which was very good to see. But at the same time, we got to keep it real that Mario Barrios, and we've said it before, it's not like we're switching up. We've said it before. Mario Barrios simply has never been at that top level.
Yeah, we're not just saying that. The Ring magazine had the WBC world champion Mario Barrios ranked number 8 out of the 10. Yeah. So that should tell you something. It's not that we're being biased, or it's not that we're being Uncle Tom's. You know what I'm saying? It's just the fact that, like, Mario Barrios doesn't seem to be that guy. I mean, he was emailed the belt. So I mean, that should tell you a little bit of something. And then her last 2 performances, especially the one against that old man Manny Pacquiao. A lot of people thought that he won.
Hey, no slander on Manny Pacquiao, man. He's not old, okay? He's mature.
He's mature. I could not believe the fact that Manny Pacquiao was able to do, still be able to show that explosivity and show that speed against a much younger guy.
Yeah, Manny Pacquiao was faster than Mario Barrios. That should tell you how slow Barrios is, man. This guy's in his fucking prime, and you're telling me that Manny Pacquiao, who had like a 47 or something, comes out of retirement and he's still faster than you? So yeah, Barrios, he hasn't been that guy for we've known this for a while.
Yeah, definitely a fight that a lot of people clearly had a lot of thoughts and opinions about. But the one thing that is a fact is that Ryan Garcia is now officially the WBC welterweight champion. and he opens himself up to major opportunities at that division. And the two big names that came up were the ones that he called out. First one was Shakur. Called him out directly during the post-fight interview, stating that he wants to run it. And then in the post-fight press conference, he goes up and calls out Devin Haney. So there's two big names right there, Shakur and Devin Haney. Personally, for me, you guys can probably have your own takes on this one, but I'd rather see him unify at 147 with Devin Haney. I think Shakur has a lot more unfinished business at 140. Of course, the Ryan Garcia is a lucrative fight, and anyone would jump to take that fight. But Shakur, he just barely emerged at the 140. He's got, Gary Russell there, who also fought on the undercard. He got Hitchins, who, died a couple hours before his fight. He's got a lot of other champions at 140. I think there's more options for him at 140 that he could, dominate in that division before moving up. But I think there's just way too much, there's unfinished business between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. And right now is the perfect time. They're both champions. They both can unify. And if I know Ryan Garcia wants it, I mean, it all depends on if Devin Haney and his team want it too. So I'd rather see that fight than a Shakur fight. But what would you guys rather see?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see a unification matchup, right? There's the other champions, right? But I mean, call me crazy, but I wouldn't mind seeing him try to unify against Lewis Crocker. Try to go over there overseas, across the pond, and then just try to unify. You know what I'm saying? I think it'd be a great experience for Ryan Garcia. He's already riding that momentum. Why not unify and get another belt? So that way, when you go to the negotiation tables against Rolly and Debo, I mean, you have more pulling power.
Yeah, makes sense. I want to see that Devin Haney fight, though. Listen, I want to see that fight, man. Like, it makes so much sense. There's so much unfinished business there. The rivalry, all the bad blood, it's still there, right? And, Ryan Garcia, he's at Devin Haney's division. He is a champion alongside him. It makes sense, And, because, listen, I think he should kind of stay away from Shakur, I'm going to be honest. I don't think he should fight Shakur. Shakur has been doing his rounds. Have you been seen? He's been going on a lot of big name streamers, shows, all this type of stuff. He went on with Stephen A. Smith, I believe. No. He's been people are finally giving Shakur the credit that I think he deserves. They're respecting him, putting a lot of respect on his name. But yeah, I don't know. Ryan Garcia, it's bold to call out Shakur Stevenson right now, right? Because after what he just did to Teofimo Lopez, that's a dangerous guy right there. So I think, I don't know, Ryan should definitely stick to Devin Haney because he already has his number. I think it's a perfect fight for both of them. They've obviously fought. They fought 6 times in the amateurs. Now they fought once in the professional. We got to see that rematch, and I think there's no better time than now.
Yeah, obviously that fight's easily going to be able to sell. But going back to what I said, I mean, imagine this Mexico versus. Is Crocker English or is he Irish? I can't even tell.
He's English.
English, okay, yeah, but I mean, when we get that Mexican and
Northern Ireland, UK.
Basically English. No, no, but I mean I get it. He fights over there in the UK. He signed with Eddie Hearn. Imagine them fighting at some type of Wembley. I'm pretty sure they could sell a big stadium like that. And then hearing that what's that song that they like to play, Sweet Caroline. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It would be a big spectacle, and I think it's a fight that Ryan Garcia could win. And I just think it makes it more exciting because. Fight fans, we're tired. We're so tired of seeing these multiple organizations make, their individual belts. We got Zuffa as well. There's a lot of critique about that. And I think within the fight fans in 2026, we want to see unifications. We want to see true champions. We don't want to see multiple champions. We don't want to see interim champions. We want to see single champions or 1 or 2 guys champions in every weight class. So... Ryan Garcia going over there and beating Lewis Crocker, getting another belt, that would be a good year for him.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't really see the appeal. I mean, I understand, that as a route, just to gain more polling power in the negotiations was Devin Haney, and also just to solidify yourself as the number one guy at the division. Unifying the division just by fighting Crocker would be a good idea, but I don't see it as a realistic route for Ryan Garcia and his team. I think they just want big names at this point. And I mean, Devin Haney, they know how to beat Devin Haney. They know each other well, so I'm sure Ryan Garcia is very confident, especially more so now after this fight, on taking a rematch with Devin Haney. And I think it just makes the most sense because, I mean, Devin Haney fought back in December, was it?
I think it was November.
November, really?
Yeah,
It's been that long. Damn, bro. Oh my gosh, time flies. Well, he fought back in November. I mean, this fight could easily be a summertime matchup, summer, late, fall type of matchup for 2026. So I think it makes more sense for them to immediately go for big names rather than try to divert and go with a unification with a fighter like Lewis Crocker.
Well, I think we're forgetting somebody. There's another champion at the 147, and he goes by Rolly Romero. You know what I'm saying? And listen, I want to see that unification too. I wouldn't mind it.
You know what's funny is that after the fights, I can't remember who it was, but somebody was recording Rolly walking out of the arena, and they're like, "Hey, Rolly, what are your thoughts or whatever?" And Rolly was like, "I'm kind of sad that Ryan didn't call my name out."
He felt left out.
and then he goes, "Well, there's a reason why no one wants to fight me, basically."
They're ducking it, man.
No, it's true. I mean, I think that could be another big name, fight, big event. You know what I'm saying? A rematch between Rolly and Garcia. Obviously they both talk a lot of shit. They've fought once already, and it'd be up for a unification as well. So I mean, I think that also makes total sense. I think that could definitely be a route that Garcia's team can go down, especially if he doesn't want to fight like Devin Haney right away. I think Rolly's beatable. Ryan could beat Rolly, but that performance was just horrible.
Well, you know how Ryan Garcia likes to say that he gave Devin Haney PTSD? It's possible that Rolly gave him PTSD. Do you remember how he was crying in the sprint ran Ryan Garcia after the fight?
Yeah.
There's a reason why he called out a Shakur who's at 140 instead of a champion in his weight class, which is Rolly Romero. So it's possible that maybe Ryan Garcia has a little bit of PTSD.
It's possible, yeah.
Well, I mean, Rolly Romero had been linked up to a fight with Conor Benn. I mean, they also had an altercation a couple weeks back during the Shakur and Teofimo. I think it was during that fight. They had an altercation, face to face, during the event. But I mean, that's a fight for. I mean, Rolly Romero has not fought since last year when he beat Ryan Garcia, so he's due for a return fight. And also WBA, like, you gotta fucking get your champion out there and stay active. I mean, you gotta do something. Get him one of the top 5, top 10 in your rankings to step up, because I mean, it's gonna be close to a year since he last fought, and I mean, there's been no reports.
There's no fight announcement, so it's gonna be like a year.
So essentially, so I mean, Rolly Romero has been out of the ring, so he's got to get active in there himself. But yeah, I mean, Romero is definitely one that everyone kind of overlooked, and I mean, kind of crazy considering the fact that he's the one who pulled up a good performance against Ryan Garcia, and now look where we're at right now, 2026. Ryan Garcia is on top of the world, and a lot of people are deeming him the best fighter at welterweight, which is, I think it's a bit of a overreaction in my opinion, but definitely does lead up to a lot of big fights for Ryan Garcia at the 147 at the welterweight, and more notably the rematch with WBO champion Devin Haney. So it should be very, very interesting to see how this thing plays out, because we also have Brian Norman Jr., who's still a dangerous fighter. Let's not get it twisted. And
his did you see his opponent came back? The one that he knocked out.
Oh yeah,
Jin Sasaki.
Yeah. He came back and he got a knockout win. Yeah. So hey, let's not. I know Brian Norman got whooped by Devin Haney.
No.
fair and square. Credit to Devin Haney. But Brian Norman Jr. still got concrete in those hands, and he's still a dangerous guy at the 147.
Yeah, it just kind of like shows you the resume that that these guys have. You know what I'm saying? They're still dangerous even though they lose. I really hate this misconception of the fact that somebody loses and now they're fucking ass. It's that that's not really the case. Styles make fights. You know what I'm saying? So it's easily. We saw Ryan Garcia beat Devin Haney, or he has his number on him, and then we saw Rolly Romero beat Ryan Garcia, but then we saw Tank beat everybody.
Yeah, bro, Tank, bro. I wonder how he's feeling watching this, because boxing kind of left him.
Yeah.
I mean, no one really brings up Tank except his fanboys on Twitter, and people just bash on his fanboys at this point.
Bro, that boy cannot keep his hands to himself, dude.
Is that a bad thing?
He's so rich. He's on top of the boxing world. All he has to do is just take a deep breath. But he cannot seem to get away from law enforcement. So that's so unfortunate.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate. And we wanted everybody wanted to see that fight against Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis, and so we're probably never going to see that. It's going to be one of those fights that what if, what could have been. Yeah. But in regards to Shakur Stevenson, he's making his rounds. He's also riding off a huge wave, that huge momentum since last month. Beating Lopez. He's like what you said, Asa. He's making the rounds everywhere. He called out Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia called him out too, but I think it's really just mostly for show. I think for Shakur, there's it's a big money fight. Fighting Ryan Garcia, but I mean, I don't want to see no dumb fucking weight catch. Like a catch weight. Yeah, I don't want to see a catch weight. You know what I'm saying? I want to see either you go up to 147 and take it to him, or you just stay at 140 or go back down on 135. Because at the end of the day, he's not a big 140 pounder. No. You know what I'm saying? I remember in his own personal YouTube channel during fight week, he was still eating good. Yeah, he was still eating. He was just trying to maintain that weight for 140. So that goes to show that even at 140 he's still a smaller guy. So not going up to 147. Yeah, I don't want to see no catch weight at 140. And for Ryan Garcia, I do want to see he has a lot more options than Shakur Stevenson. And between them two, I think it's a hard fight for Ryan Garcia. Shakur Stevenson is just an elite fighter. After this win, Shakur went up to the number 3 pound for pound ranking. That tells you something. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's better for Ryan Garcia to continue to ride this wave and look for better options.
Well, I mean, speaking of Shakur, he had couple fights at the 140 this past weekend that came into fruition, and I think we saw the emergence of a new top contender in Andy Hiraoka, man. That dude, let's move down to the co-main event. Actually, let's first talk about it.
Yeah, what happened to the co-main event?
Yeah, okay. Well, Hitchins, dude came in for the second weigh-in in the morning. Supposedly, he felt all right. He felt good. They went out to eat breakfast, and then he supposedly started vomiting, and they vomited a couple times, and that's when he supposedly got food poisoning, and they had to cancel the fight like 2 hours before the event. So I felt bad for Oscar Duarte of all people. I mean, imagine going through that camp for going up against your first time fighting for a world championship title, and your opponent like 2 hours before the event calls sick, and the fight is canceled. So I'd be pressed if I was Oscar Duarte, but he took it well.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you guys this: do you guys think that Richardson Hitchison was actually sick with food poisoning, or do you think he was a fucking pussy?
Shut the fuck up, pussy. Dude, Duarte was making a lot of fans this week. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. He's crazy. And that's really unfortunate, because I think because of that clip, a lot of people were really intrigued about this fight. And I don't think it was just like, your hardcore boxing fans, but I think it also made the waves within the casuals. You know what I'm saying? They see this tough, rugged Mexican guy who doesn't speak any English, and then he says 2 fucking words in fucking in English.
Yeah, no, definitely. So it is kind of sad for Duarte. Listen, I don't know, man. Like, it sounds like Hitchins pulled a Floyd Schofield. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if he was sick or not. The thing is, I don't think he was scared. I think he was confident in himself and in his abilities. Because Hitchins is a very confident guy. Like, yeah, he's he's one of those guys that he likes to talk his talk, right? And he can walk the walk. He has great skills. So I don't know. Maybe he did get sick. Maybe I don't know. He wasn't feeling right or something. But it's just so unfortunate. Like the day of, hours before the event, and you just pull the plug and say I'm not gonna fight. Like all the comments were going crazy. A lot of people were saying that they were thinking that was gonna be the fight of the night. You know, so like. For us boxing fans, it just hurts. It hurts to see that because we were looking forward to a great event. That fight was going to be an amazing fight and a lot of implications at the 140 division, and now we don't get to see that happen. So very unfortunate. You know, as boxing fans, we definitely got frustrated a lot.
Yeah, I saw. Because a lot of people were questioning whether or not it was genuine, the pull out, if he was simply ducking. I mean, when I saw it, I was first of all, pretty pissed off about it because I thought it completely ruined the card to a certain degree for me because I was heavily looking forward to that fight. But this morning, I think it was Chris Mannix. I'm not sure who. But they reported saying that there's already preliminary talks between Duarte and Hitchins' team to reschedule the fight sometime soon. So I think it should be like that. Hopefully, there's a quick turnaround to it, and maybe sometime in maybe April or sometime around closer to the springtime that we can get the this 140 IBF fight in check because it's definitely a fight that needs to happen.
Yeah. Do you think he got cold feet?
To be honest, I didn't really have like a personal like. I think it's true that he did get sick, but the thing that makes it really suspicious is simply the timing. How 2 hours before the event starts he calls out sick. So it could be true that he did. People were blaming the IBF rule of the second weigh-in. They have to be 10 pounds within the weigh-in that they did on Friday. So people were saying that Hitchins couldn't make weight. He struggled to make the 140, and then he struggled again to make the 150. Yeah. So they said maybe that could have played a factor to him feeling ill, which may be true. He did look a bit drained on Friday, but I don't know. It's only one to know is Hitchins and his team. So we'll see whether or not he did get cold feet when hopefully they can reschedule the fight sometime soon.
Yeah, it's hard to say, especially because a lot of boxers, they don't go into a fight 100%. Sometimes they had an injury in training camp that maybe they are feeling a little sick, but they still go in and fight. So it's kind of hard to say. There could be some truth into Hitchins, actually being sick, but how sick was he really? Like, was he good enough to go into a fight? We're never gonna know.
Yeah, I think personally for me, I do think that weight cut for him was extreme. I mean, Hitchison did look like a big guy. He did look like his whole face was sunken in. He did look like, your typical African kid. You know what I'm saying? Super skinny. And then just in regards to the IBF rule, that seems like a super outdated rule. The fact that fighters cut 20 plus pounds to make a weight, and then within that 24-hour time frame, they try to get as close as they can to their natural weight, or just gain as much pounds as they can. For the only organization to have like a cap, for them to be like, okay, within 9 a.m. tomorrow, you have to weigh in no more than 10 pounds. Well, that's gonna take it's gonna play an effect in some of these fighters, which is to me a reason why a lot of these fighters don't want to fight for an IBF title, because they know that they're going to be shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah, it's literally like a disadvantage. I don't know why they have a rehydration clause for a world title. Like, I think I kind of get it. It's to decentivize people, like weight bullies, right? It's to decentivize people like cutting a lot of weight, because if you have to gain more than 10 pounds in 24 hours, they'll argue that it's probably not safe for you to cut that much weight. But everyone fucking does this, and you're also the only organization that does this as well. So then it's like, are you really even fixing anything?
Get with the program.
Yeah.
Like, no one else is doing this, so might as well just, get rid of that rule. And I think you would have a lot more people actually trying to fight for the IBF. You know what I'm saying? Instead of for every other world championship organization title.
Or maybe Hitchins can just move up to welterweight.
That's another thing.
Maybe you can stop being a weight bully and decide to move up in weight. And that's what I saw a lot of people online saying, like, stop being a weight bully, then like just fight at your the weight that you can fight at instead of trying to kill yourself to make a lower weight class. But definitely a huge talking point this past week in regarding Hitchins and his supposed sickness. Hopefully he's recovered, and like I said, hopefully we can get that fight up and running for some time within these next couple weeks, couple months, maybe no later than May, man, because I'd be pissed off if that's the case. But I mean, we had a new co-main event. We had it moved up. We had Gary Russell, the current WBA champion, take on his number one challenger and Andy Hiraoka. This fight was a bit weird for me. I don't know. This fight was a bit weird because they were two counter opposite, more so in the fact of their like experience. Because the thing that intrigued me the most, or that caught my interest, was the commentators when the fight was going on were saying how Andy had no amateur experience whatsoever, amateur experience, and went pro at 17. And meanwhile, you had Gary Russell, who was a decorated amateur fighter, represented Team USA in the Olympics. So he has the amateur pedigree. So there were two counter opposites of each other, and there was still a heavily competitive fight. And it tells you, first off, you don't always need the amateurs to be a great professional fighter, as shown in this fight. But it definitely does help. And Gary Russell was able to get the victory over Andy Hiraoka. But Andy definitely made a lot of fans this past weekend. Thoughts about this fight?
Yeah, Hiroka's tough as nails, man. And he's a big guy. Like, usually Gary Russell is the one going forward, being the aggressor, throwing a lot of punches. In this fight, Hiraoka was pushing Gary back. He had him on the ropes a lot of the time, and he was unleashing some killer body shots. So I was very impressed by Hiraoka. Obviously he doesn't have a big presence over here in the U.S., and him and his team are crazy because they just came in to Las Vegas like 2 days before the fight. Absolutely crazy, from Japan. Wow. So I mean, I don't know how they did it, but they did it. They made it work. He put up a great performance. I know he lost, but I don't think he should be discouraged by this. I think a lot of the U.S. people are going to be on notice now when he fights. So I was very impressed by both fighters.
Yeah, me too. I guess I didn't catch that comment from the commentators, the fact that Andy had zero amateur experience. But it just goes to show you how much of a strong mule Andy Hiraoka is. You know what I'm saying? Not only is he a southpaw, but he has power in both hands. His last 5 fights have all been by stoppage. You know what I'm saying? So this guy has power, dynamite in both hands. And the thing that surprised me the most is the fact that not only was he able to bang with Gary Russell, but he was also able to like stop him almost in his tracks. Like, Russell's typical style, like he wants to move forward, he wants to move his opponent backwards. And Hiraoka, when he didn't want to go backwards, he didn't have, he stopped, he was there. You know what I'm saying? There is one thing though that I want to say. I can't remember what round it was, but Russell, all the Russell brothers, they all fought or were boxers or whatever, and they were all trained by their father. But he recently passed away not too long ago, and so now the older brother trains him. And in between one of the rounds, he goes in between the ropes as the Russell fighter, the boxer, sits down in the stool, and then the coach goes, "Stop doing that!" and he smacks him on top of his forehead.
What the fuck?
Look, I understand when
What was he doing?
He wasn't doing what the coach was telling him, and that's the funny thing. I think it's funny when the coach gets frustrated when the boxer isn't doing what he tells him to. But I mean, you can't smack him like that.
Yeah, dude, he's already getting punched in the face by his opponent. He doesn't need another punch from the coach. Like, come on.
Yeah, so I thought that was funny, but I mean, overall, that fight was very entertaining. It wasn't fight of the night, but it was definitely entertaining. I think for that fight to be moved up as the coming event, I think it was entertaining for sure.
Yeah, Andy showcased his the pedigree that it brings, and he's a high level. I think the thing that helps him a lot too is the fact that he's such a big 140 pounder. I mean, 5'11". He looked massive in there. He's just lanky as hell too. towered over Gary Russell in the weigh-ins and during the fight. He clearly tell he was the bigger man. And yeah, Gary Russell, we're known to see him being the aggressor, being the one pushing the pace and everything, especially if you look at the fight against Rayo Valenzuela, where he just absolutely put belt to ass for 12 rounds on him. But he was, he looked neutralized at many points against Andy Hiraoka, and I think the fight was a bit closer. I did have Gary winning.
Yeah.
But the scorecards were really wide. A lot of people online weren't very happy.
Yeah, there was one judge that gave Andy just 3 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit disingenuous to the work that Hiraoka did. Of course, then again, you can make the argument that Andy didn't really do much in the first half of the fight. He's very neutral until midway through the fight, where he picked it up and started landing hellacious body shots. Yeah. More so when he dropped him was the nut shot, man. That was a crazy shot, man. I mean, I felt that from across the screen myself.
Yeah, that was crazy. He's trying to scoop him up from the bottom. Honestly,
that was like one of those the 90s heavyweight fighter Andrew Galata type of low belt.
He got disqualified for those low blows. That was a crazy low blow. I'm gonna be honest.
I mean, but it wasn't intentional. You know what I'm saying? It was accidental. You know, it happens. You know what I'm saying? Russell's a little bit lower, so maybe he was aiming for the body and accidentally aimed for the nuts.
Yeah, but I mean, Gary Russell was able to retain his WBA championship title at 140. Of course, there's that potential fight with Shakur sometime in the future. They have history themselves. They got the sparring footages and everything like that, so they know each other well. And I think that'd be a great fight for Shakur sometime down the line. And like I said, there's a lot of opportunities at the 140. It's a very stacked division. You got Puello there as well. Yeah. You got Dalton Smith, Shakur, and whatnot. So a lot of big names at that division. Andy's now a new addition to it now that we saw what he can bring. So definitely a lot of dangerous fighters. And honestly, I think it was a good showing for both the champion and the contender this past weekend.
Yeah, I think for me, even though Andy lost, and it does not matter, or I guess it does matter, but the scorecards don't reflect the actual his performance within that fight. It really shows that he is championship level. For a judge to give Andy only 3 rounds is kind of disrespectful. Like one judge gave Barrios 2 rounds. I didn't see Barrios win 2 rounds. You know what I'm saying? And Andy was for sure putting that pressure on Russell. You know what I'm saying? For his coach to smack him on the top of the head, that goes to show you, Russell was actually feeling some type of frustration, against Andy. So, Andy shouldn't be sad about this. That he didn't get the outcome that he wanted, but I mean, it just goes to show that he is elite competition at that weight class.
Yeah, he's also like an elite bone smasher or something. You see that jawline?
That Minecraft face jaw type.
Hey, yo, they're never knocking him out, bro. His chin is like
it's solid.
Yeah, it's solid right there.
Yeah, made it out of titanium, man. That's where he do got that blockhead. But I mean, hey, man, if he can take a punch, he can take a punch. He got that chin on him. So good overall, good showcasing from the event. I thought the whole event was pretty well. Even despite the hiccup with Hitchins and Duarte being off. I thought the overall show was great, and I think Turkey went home a happy man now, considering the fact that his plan of getting that Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney rematch is back in action. So overall, a very good night of boxing, and we'll see in the future later this year of how it all plays out. Sorry.
Yeah. I guess just kind of like the closing thoughts within this whole Barrios and Garcia. I did see Neon. A couple streamers, Neon and Oblivion, pull up, and I think that really helps within boxing. You know what I'm saying? Facts. They didn't really come with like a big entourage. It was mostly just like them or whatever, with a couple of their members or whatever. So it was kind of interesting. I saw a couple clips. The one thing that I do want to talk about is the fact that Oblivion, influencer boxer, right? This guy was, rooting for Ryan Garcia. I know they've done streams together, I believe. So, he was rooting for his boy, and, his boy ended up winning. But there was one thing that kind of rubbed me off the wrong way, was the fact that in one clip he was like, yes, we did it. We did it. We won. Motherfucker, what the fuck did you do?
Trained him, bro.
Because last time this dude stepped into the ring, in an actual sanctioned bout, he lost to a NBA player or a wannabe NBA player, a basketball player. He lost to a basketball player, and this guy was apparently going to be like the next thing for brand risk or whatever. And for him to lose against a basketball player, and then for him to say that shit, I was like, dude, you need to fucking humble yourself,
bro. You know how people get with sports. It's kind of like with football. You know, like they get such a tie with their team, and they're like, like they literally think they're like part of the team. You know, like they're in the corner with them. So. But that it is true. I mean, I think those influencers. I mean, that plays a big role, man. Neon. Well, actually, I'm not. I know Neon is a big streamer, big time streamer. Lot of like clips always go viral. I'm not sure how big Oblivion is, but even then, like I know for a fact they do have followings, and just them even just going to these events and live streaming it, like that's just amazing for boxing. And you know, these traditionalists, they gotta realize that this is the future. You know, the young kids that are thinking about boxing, they check out a Neon stream or an Oblivion stream, and they see that might push them to go to a boxing gym. So it's the future, man, and I never understood any hate with these guys, Neon or Oblivion.
Yeah, not only that, but also Oblivion was able to get Benavidez' because Benavidez was there and his whole family was there, but he was able to get his contact information for a possible stream later on in the future. And what's funny is the fact that so I watched that clip, and even Benavidez' wife knew that he was a streamer. She was like, "Oh my god, a streamer!" So I was like, oh my god, dude. But you know, overall, it's good for boxing. I did want to just kind of talk about that. He did also mention the fact that he was Ryan Garcia's cousin. I mean, it came from the fact that after the fight, Ryan Garcia and Shakur Stevenson and Crawford were, I think, backstage somewhere, and they were like, "Oh yeah, let's get the fight, let's make the fight." And then Oblivion has to speak, obviously. Oh yeah, that's easy work. That's easy work for Ryan. And then you have Terrence Crawford just kind of look at him, give him the death stare, and he goes, "You box?" And then Oblivion goes, "No, I'm his cousin."
Listen, man, Crawford has been on his shit recently, man. When he gives you that stare, like he has that like 1,000-yard stare, we just like looks right at your soul. You do not want to get in a fight with that man. You do not want to get in a fight with him.
Yeah, so lots of big things came out of the Ryan Garcia and Mario Barrios. Funny to see a lot of clips and a lot of viral moments that came out of it. So we'll see what happens later down the line for all those who were a part of that event. But let's move forward towards our final segment of the show. We have the return of El Vaquero Navarrete, WBO champion, as he takes on Sugar Nunez, the IBF champion, a unification at the 130 weight division in boxing. Last time we saw Navarrete was last year back in May when he took on Charlie Suarez in a very controversial fight in which we saw Navarrete have the fight stopped due to a cut, which was later ruled a no contest. Meanwhile, last time we saw Nunez was when he took on El Pitufo Diaz in a good brawl, underrated war last year, in the fight that Sugar Nunez was able to get the victory over El Pitufo Diaz. So good fight, good Mexican brawl upcoming this upcoming week. I'm very excited for it. Thoughts about this fight?
Yeah, I'm very excited. Very excited. You know, we grew up very big Navarrete fans. I love him a lot. I think he's a great fighter. You know, he's got that typical Mexican build. You know, no abs, no real muscle on those arms. But hey, dude can punch though. And his combination work is amazing. I like how, you know, that uppercut that he throws from such a long distance. Just a great fighter. So I'm very excited about this one. I know Sugar Nunez, he's got power. He's got power in those hands. So it's gonna be, I'm expecting a very close fight, competitive fight. Both these guys are Mexican, so they're not gonna want to lose. So it's gonna be. I'm excited, man. It's gonna be a great fight.
Yeah, going off that, you know, they're both Mexican. I wouldn't be surprised if we see something along the lines of a Morales type of Barrera type of brawl. I wouldn't be surprised if this goes like 2-3 fights if they continue to fight, you know, down the line. You know what I'm saying? These I believe the segment is called Gloves Off, I believe. But I tuned in and I watched it a little bit. And, you know, they have, typically how it goes is they have like a host and they have both fighters, you know, maybe not facing off, but like sitting down, looking at each other like about a foot away, and you know they're just kind of like the host gives them questions and that, you know, then does the whole procedure. You know, basically, Nuñez was the one that was saying that, you know, the one who's going to win is going to be the one who prepares the most, or who prepares the best. And I think that's really how it is. Whoever's able to come in 110%, I'm talking about cardio, I'm talking about, you know, the weight, I'm talking about the nutrition. Everything has to be on point because on the other side, the other guy's going to be like that as well. You know, and not only that, but you also have that Mexican fighting spirit. And so none of these guys want to lose. You know, Navarrete hasn't looked the best, you know, in past few fights. So I think, you know, there's a lot of eyes on him to see, you know, how he performs against a tough Mexican warrior. And, you know, Nuñez, you know, he's not relatively known like that, like Navarrete. But, I mean, there's a reason why he's fighting Navarrete. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I'm expecting fireworks, and may the best man win.
Yeah, I want to talk about something you said about, like the best prepared. They're the most, whoever fighter prepares the best is going to win. I think that has been kind of Navarrete's shortfall, you know, because like you were saying, he hasn't really looked the best these past couple fights. Like, I haven't been blown away. And I think a lot of it has to do with his nutrition, man, his preparation. I like... You know, sometimes these Mexicans, they get a little hard-headed. They don't want to take the correct steps. You know, they want to keep on eating those tacos. They want to keep on, you know, everything, like all this type of stuff.
Yes, it's like instead of 10 tacos, it's only one taco.
Yeah, man. And I think, I don't know, I feel like Navarrete kind of is in that lane because when he gets prepared and he's like dialed in, he's an absolute monster, right? Like, he is a monster. His combination work, his cardio, his stamina, like he's a monster. But sometimes it seems like he's not really fully there. Like, his performances are like hit or miss. So I'm hoping that, you know, this is a unification at the 130. A lot is riding on this. It's against another Mexican. I'm hoping he's taking this very seriously and he actually prepared 100%. He got a nutritionist. You know, he's taking the correct steps to go into the fight 100% because he's going to need it. You know, Nuñez is a monster, so he better prepare himself.
Yeah, going along the lines of the nutritionist and the way he eats and his diet, I really do think within his past few recent fights, I think that's been, you know, the thing that's kind of been shooting him in the foot. Just the fact that he just doesn't think that, you know, just limiting himself and then just kind of going in and weighing in, and then just after the weigh-ins being able to eat whatever he wants. I can't remember what fight it was, but I remember this was when Top Rank still had that deal with ESPN. He was eating just whatever. I can't remember which commentator it was, but they were like, they made the fact that they're like, oh yeah, Navarrete for this fight after the weigh-ins, he was just eating whatever, garbage, candy, whatever. It's like, I understand you're supposed to have that confidence. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter what you do, you're still gonna win. You still have the mentality of a winner, but you know, everybody's doing it. I mean, if you want to put yourself in the best place, you have to, you know, restrict yourself. You have to eat properly, and you have to rehydrate properly as well. You can't just eat whatever, you know, whatever you want. And I think if he does able to, you know, minimize that, I think we should see him come out victorious.
Yeah, it's a dangerous fight because, like we said, Shakur Nuñez is not a big, well-known fighter or champion at all to a lot of the casuals, but he's looking for that signature win, and beating Emanuel Navarrete would get him that signature win and get him the recognition that he's looking out for. And we're talking about a man who's 29 wins, 27 of them way of knockout. I mean, we're talking about a heavy-handed champion in Shakur Nuñez. So, yeah, Navarrete, very inconsistent with his fights. You never really know what you're going to get. It's been like this for quite some time now. It's a little irritating, a little annoying at points because we know how good he can be when he's on his game. So, against the Oscar Valdez, that's when we saw the very best of him in recent years, just because they really were dubbing it as a Morales-Barrera type of fight. And Navarrete himself said that he was very motivated for it. So hopefully this fight can also give that same vibe for him and give him that sense of urgency because Navarrete is only 31 years old, which is not old at all, but he's had over 40 fights. That's a very long career and a lot of damage. And I don't know how motivated he is to keep going and fighting and attaining these victories. So, excuse me. I'm hoping he's locked in for this fight, and if he is, then we should expect a big Mexican shootout, standoff between Sugar Nuñez and Navarrete. What are you guys' predictions for this?
Well, for me, it's going to be a back and forth action. It's like what I said. I'm expecting a Morales type versus a Barrera type of fight. I'm going to see, Nuñez have moments here and there, and then I'm going to see Navarrete have moments here and there. But at the end of the day, I'm going to go with my boy, with the cowboy, Navarrete. And I'm just going to go with the decision victory.
Yeah, man. It's a tough fight. Honestly, I think it's 50-50. Very difficult. Because we don't know, which Navarrete is going to come into the ring. Like, we're talking about Ryan Garcia. He's got different versions. Same thing with Navarrete, man. He's got different versions. I think he is going to be motivated. With that being said, though, Sugar Nuñez is coming off crazy momentum right now. I mean, he's at the best point in his career. It's going to be hard to stop that man. So, I might... Listen... I think it's 50-50, but I'm leaning a little towards Sugar Nuñez, I'm going to be honest.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the momentum is definitely on Sugar Nuñez's favor or his side. So Navarrete really does have to come in guns blazing and really prepared for this fight, considering the fact that he's been off for quite some time now. He had time to heal up from the cut in the fight that he was not looking the best against Charlie Suarez. So he definitely has a lot of critiques to silence. It's going to be a hard fight, man. I think I'm expecting a very good fight, a very entertaining fight. They're both aggressive, come forward type fighters, so I'm expecting nothing less than that. I think Navarrete will be coming out on top. And if he comes out in the version that I think he will come in, which would be like a Oscar Valdez 2 version that came in, I think he has the potential to put a beating on Nuñez, but I think it's going to be a decision win for Navarrete in a very hard fought fight. And I think he will be unifying the 130 division, which will be very intriguing to see, seeing how that division finally gets some movement. It's been a while since we've really talked about it. So I'm expecting Emanuel Navarrete to come out on top. I have trust in El Vaquero to get the job done, but I'm expecting it to be a very, very tough fight for both fighters. No. Oh. But I think that's all that we had to talk about for today's episode. Let us know your predictions for that fight in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to let us know about your thoughts on Ryan Garcia and how the rest of the 147 landscape pans out for the rest of 2026. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us on all forms of social media. We are on X, Instagram, and TikTok. Lastly, we're trying to build up a community on Discord, and you guys joining would be greatly appreciated. This was Pablo, and I was Rudo and Asa, and this was the Last Round Podcast. Thank you for watching.